The blue light of distant stars shimmered on the viewing deck of the research vessel Pathfinder. Dr. Olivia Reed stood with her hands pressed against the cool glass, watching the alien ship approach. It was the third visit from the Galactic Union, in as many weeks, and each time, the ship brought more delegates, more scientists, and more questions. "They're early again," Commander Jack Ellis said as he joined her at the window. His uniform was crisp, his posture stiff. "I don't like it when people are too eager to be my friend." Olivia smiled. "Not everyone shares your suspicion, Jack. Maybe they're just excited to meet another spacefaring species. 17 different alien species in their union, and they all want to be best friends with us? Something feels off." The Union ship docked with a gentle hiss. It was beautiful in a strange way, all smooth curves and shimmering surfaces that seemed to change color with the light. Nothing like the practical, angular design of human ships. Olivia checked her tablet. "I need to get to the lab. The Union scientists sent over some comparative biology data last night. I'm still going through it." "Find anything interesting?" Jack asked, falling into step beside her as they walked toward the elevator. "Maybe. There's something odd about their evolutionary patterns that I can't quite place." The corridor buzzed, with activity as crew members prepared for the Union delegates. Most of the crew were excited about the aliens. First contact had gone smoothly, too smoothly according to Jack. In her lab, Olivia pulled up the biological scans. The data covered all 17 species in the Union, from the tall, bird-like viridians to the squat, six-limbed kreks. She had spent weeks comparing their biology to human physiology. "Computer, display evolutionary patterns, all species," she said. The screen filled with branching diagrams. Jack leaned against her desk. "What am I looking at?" "Evolution. See these branches? They show how species developed over time." She pointed to the human diagram. "This is us." "And what's the problem?" Olivia bit her lip. "Look at the diet classifications of the early ancestors. The Union species all evolved from herbivores or omnivores with primarily plant-based diets. And humans? We evolved from predators, hunters. It's written in our biology. Our forward-facing eyes for depth perception, our teeth designed for tearing meat, our bodies built for chasing prey." Jack frowned. "So what? Lots of animals on Earth are predators." "Yes, but no intelligent species in the Union evolved from predators. Not one." She pulled up more data. "And there's more. Their reflexes are slower than ours. Their fight or flight responses are less developed. They don't produce adrenaline the way we do." Before Jack could respond, the lab door opened. Ambassador Zixtal of the Viridians glided in, flanked by 2 Union scientists. The ambassador stood nearly 7 feet tall with feather-like appendages that shimmered with iridescent blues and greens. His movements were graceful but deliberate, never rushed. "Dr. Reed, Commander Ellis." The ambassador's voice was melodic. "I hope we are not interrupting important work." Olivia quickly switched her screen to a different display. "Not at all, Ambassador. We were just reviewing some data." The ambassador's large side-set eyes scanned the lab. Those eyes couldn't focus together like human eyes. They were prey eyes, designed to watch for danger from all directions. "We have brought more scientists who wish to observe your medical facilities," the ambassador said. "They are most interested in human biology." Jack crossed his arms. "You seem very focused on how our bodies work, Ambassador." The ambassador made a gesture that Olivia had learned was a Viridian smile. "All new. Knowledge is valuable, Commander. Your species is unique in many ways." One of the Union scientists stepped forward with a device. "If I may, we have developed a new scanner that measures neurological responses. Perhaps Dr. Reed would allow us to demonstrate?" Olivia noticed Jack tense beside her. "What kind of responses?" she asked. "Decision-making processes, stress reactions, threat assessment capabilities," the scientist said. "Human brains seem to process these functions differently than ours." "I'll volunteer," Jack said, before Olivia could answer. "I'm sure you'll find my brain fascinating." The test took only minutes. Jack sat still while the device hummed around his head. The Union scientists watched their readings with increasing interest, chittering to each other in their own language. "Remarkable," one said finally. "Your threat response activated immediately when the simulated danger appeared, and you mentally calculated 3 different defensive strategies in seconds." The ambassador made a sound like soft bells. "Forgive my colleague's excitement. Your species has impressive reaction times." After the Union delegates left, Jack paced the lab. "They're studying us like lab rats, Olivia. Did you see how they reacted to those brain scans?" Olivia nodded slowly. "They seemed surprised by your responses, almost concerned. And now your discovery about predators. What if that's what they're really interested in? What if they've never encountered a predator species before?" Olivia turned back to her screen. "Let me check something." She typed quickly, accessing the historical data the Union had shared. "That's strange. There are gaps in their evolutionary records, species that just disappear." "What kind of species?" Jack asked. "I can't tell yet. I need more access to their databases." She looked up at him. "Jack, what if predator species did evolve in their part of the galaxy, but they're not in the Union? What if they're not mentioned in any of the records they've shared with us?" Jack's expression darkened. "Then the question becomes, what happened to them?" Later that night, Olivia couldn't sleep. She returned to her lab and dug deeper into the Union's data. She found a restricted file that mentioned something called biological harmony assessment. Using her override codes, she managed to open it. What she found made her blood run cold. The Union classified all species on an aggression scale. Those with predator ancestry scored highest. The file contained recommendations for managing species based on their scores. For the highest scores, the recommendation was containment, or guided development. On Earth, Union diplomats were establishing what they called cultural exchange centers in major cities. Olivia pulled up their locations and overlaid them with a map of Earth's major military installations. The pattern was unmistakable. The centers were positioned to monitor Earth's defensive capabilities. She immediately called Jack. "I found something," she said when he answered. "Something bad. The Union isn't just studying us, they're assessing us as a threat." "Because we're predators," Jack said. It wasn't a question. "Yes, and I think they have a standard procedure for dealing with predator species." Olivia stared at her screen at the patterns revealing themselves. "Jack, I don't think we're the first predators they've encountered. I think we're just the first ones they've found in a long time. And the others? I don't know yet. But I plan to find out." Outside the viewport, the stars continued to shine, cold and distant. Somewhere among them, the Union was watching, waiting to see what the predators from Earth would do next. 3 months passed since the first Union delegates arrived. The massive Nexus station now orbited Earth, a gleaming symbol of interstellar cooperation. At least that's what the news channels called it. Olivia Reed wasn't so sure anymore. The Union had invited her to their primary research facility on Nexus Station. She stood in her quarters packing a small bag when Jack Ellis knocked on her door. "You don't have to go," he said, leaning against the doorframe. "We could find another xenobiologist." Olivia shook her head. "They asked for me specifically. If I refuse, they'll get suspicious." She zipped her bag closed. "Besides, this is our chance to learn more about what they're really doing." Jack handed her a small device that looked like a normal data chip. "This will let you access their systems without leaving a trace. Dr. Alan Murphy will meet you on the station. He's been there for 2 weeks already." Alan was an old friend from university, and one of the few people they trusted with their suspicions. As a biochemist, he had been invited to study Union medical technology. The shuttle ride to Nexus Station took 30 minutes. Through the window, Olivia watched Earth grow smaller. The blue planet looked peaceful from space. She wondered if it would stay that way. Nexus Station was enormous. Curved hallways stretched in all directions filled with members of different alien species. Olivia felt small among them. A Viridian guide met her at the docking bay. "Dr. Reed, welcome. I am Trelvox, Your liaison during your stay. The tall, bird-like alien gestured down a hallway. Your quarters are prepared. Dr. Murphy has requested to meet you in Research Section 12 once you are settled. Her quarters were comfortable but plain. Olivia quickly unpacked and then activated the scanner Jack had given her. No listening devices. She pressed a button on her communicator. I'm in. Meeting Alan now. Research Section 12 was devoted to biological studies. Alan waited for her near a row of strange-looking equipment. His usual cheerful face was serious. Glad you made it, he said, hugging her briefly. We need to talk somewhere private. They walked to an observation deck that overlooked Earth. It was empty except for them. Alan spoke quietly. I found something, Olivia. Something they don't want us to know. He looked around nervously. I was analyzing their medical database and found a hidden section about predator species. Olivia's heart beat faster. What did it say? Predator species were once common across the galaxy, but they're not anymore. The records show they were all systematically eliminated or guided to extinction by the Union's ancestors. Eliminated? You mean killed? Alan nodded. Some through direct conflict, others through engineered diseases that targeted aggression genes. Some were manipulated into self-destruction through wars. Cold fear spread through Olivia's body. They see us as a threat. Yes. Their records classify predator species as unstable and dangerous. They believe our natural aggression makes us unpredictable. Alan pulled out a small device. I downloaded what I could, but I think they noticed. My access was cut off yesterday. Olivia took the device. We need to get this to Jack. There's more, Alan said. I found references to something called the containment protocol. It seems to be their standard procedure for dealing with predator species. Before he could continue, his communicator beeped. He checked it and frowned. I have to go. They've called an emergency meeting of all human scientists. He squeezed her arm. Be careful, Olivia. That was the last time she saw Alan. The next morning, he didn't appear for breakfast. When Olivia asked Trelvox about him, the Viridian claimed Alan had been sent back to Earth for a special assignment. Olivia didn't believe it. She sent a coded message to Jack. Bird flew away. Need to find nest. That night, she used the special data chip to access the Union's main computer. Her fingers moved quickly over the keyboard as she searched for information on Alan and the containment protocol. There was no record of Alan leaving the station, but she did find a sealed area in the medical section where unauthorized humans were not allowed. She also found files on the containment protocol, but they were heavily encrypted. Olivia downloaded what she could and then headed back to her quarters. As she rounded a corner, she saw 2 Union security officers outside her door. She quickly turned and walked the other way. Heart pounding, she needed a new plan. The observation deck had communication panels that could reach Earth. If she could send the data to Jack, he could continue the investigation even if she was caught. On Earth, Susan Kelly walked through the Union Cultural Exchange Center in Chicago. As an FBI agent assigned to Union security, she had access to most areas. But something didn't feel right about the center's layout. The public areas were bright and welcoming, filled with displays about Union species and their cultures. But Susan had noticed secured doors that weren't on any official blueprints. Today, she planned to find out what was behind them. Using her security clearance, she entered a restricted area. Inside, she found Union scientists monitoring screens that showed data from across the city. One screen displayed radiation levels near the local military base. Another showed water quality reports from the city's main supply. Agent Kelly, a voice said behind her. She turned to see the center's director, a Krex named Mokhtal. This area is not part of your assigned sector. I was looking for the environmental monitoring station, Susan lied smoothly. I must have taken a wrong turn. The Krex's 6 limbs shifted in what she recognized as discomfort. Allow me to escort you back to the public area. As they walked, Susan noticed more screens in adjoining rooms. They appeared to be tracking human movement patterns throughout the city. One showed what looked like biological readouts. Back on Nexus Station, Olivia reached the observation deck. It was empty as she had hoped. She quickly went to a communication panel and inserted Alan's data device along with her own. Computer. Establish secure link to Earth. Pathfinder command. Authorization read Alpha 7. The computer processed her request. While waiting, Olivia opened the files she had found on the containment protocol. What she saw confirmed her worst fears. The protocol outlined methods for neutralizing potential threats from predator species. It included detailed plans for everything from biological weapons that targeted aggression centers in the brain to orbital platforms disguised as communication relays that could deliver precise strikes against military targets. The screen in front of her suddenly lit up with Jack's face. "Olivia, where's Alan?" "I think they have him, Jack. He found information about predator species and the Union's plans for dealing with them." She glanced over her shoulder. "I'm sending you everything we found. The Union has something called the Containment Protocol. They've used it before on other predator species." "Other species? What happened to them?" "They're gone, Jack. All of them. And we're next if we don't." The door to the observation deck slid open. Trelvox entered, flanked by 2 security officers. "Dr. Reed," the Viridian said calmly. "Please, step away from the communication panel." Olivia quickly pressed the send button. "Jack, get the data to Susan Kelly at the FBI. The Union centers on Earth are monitoring." One of the officers stepped forward and grabbed her arm. The screen went black as the connection was cut. Trelvox's feathers rippled in a pattern Olivia had learned to recognize as disappointment. "Dr. Reed, we had such hopes for cooperation with your species, but you've proven what our study suggested. Predators cannot be trusted." Jack Ellis stared at the blank screen where Olivia's face had been moments before. His hands curled into fists. The data she had sent was still downloading, but her final words echoed in his mind. "Lieutenant Miller," he called to the security officer at the door. "I need a secure line to FBI agent Susan Kelly in Chicago. Now." Greg Miller nodded and moved quickly to the communication station. He was young but reliable, one of the few people Jack trusted completely on the Pathfinder. "Sir, should we inform Earth Command about Dr. Reed?" Miller asked as he worked. "Not yet. We need more information first." Jack watched as the data from Olivia finished downloading. "And we need to understand exactly what we're dealing with." The files were partially encrypted, but what Jack could see was enough to make his blood run cold. The containment protocol was detailed and methodical. It had been used against 12 previous civilizations, all predator species like humans. All were now extinct or reduced to primitive states. Phase 1 involved monitoring and assessment, gathering data on military capabilities, social structures, and biological weaknesses. Phase 2 introduced subtle biochemical agents to test reactions. Phase 3 was direct intervention, engineered plagues that targeted aggression genes, orbital weapons disguised as scientific instruments, and covert operations to destabilize military command structures. According to the data, Earth was already in Phase 2. "Sir, I have Agent Kelly on a secure line," Miller said. Susan Kelly's face appeared on the screen. She looked tense. "Commander Ellis, I was about to contact you. We have a situation." "The Union centers are monitoring our military installations," Jack said. "They're preparing for something called the Containment Protocol." Susan's eyes widened, slightly. "How did you know?" "Dr. Reed sent information from Nexus Station before she was captured. The Union has eliminated predator species before, and they plan to do the same to us. That explains what I found today." Susan lowered her voice. "The Chicago Center has monitoring stations tracking our water supply, radiation levels, and population movement patterns. I think they're mapping out how to deploy biological agents. Can you get access to their systems?" Susan nodded. "Possibly. They still think I'm just doing my job, but I'll need to be careful. Send whatever you find directly to me. And Susan, watch your back." After ending the call, Jack turned to Miller. "We need to find Dr. Reed and Dr. Murphy, but first we need to secure the Pathfinder. I think we're about to have unwelcome visitors." On Nexus Station, Olivia sat in a bare room with a single table. She had been there for hours. Finally, the door opened, and Ambassador Zixtal entered with Trelvox. "Dr. Reed," the ambassador said, his voice soft as always. "Your actions have created a difficult situation." "Where is Dr. Murphy?" Olivia demanded. "He is safe," Zixtal replied, "just as you will be if you cooperate." Trelvox placed a tablet on the table. "We need to understand how you discovered our research. Who else knows?" Olivia remained silent. The ambassador's feathers rippled. "Dr. Reed, we are not your enemies. We are simply taking necessary precautions. Your species has great potential, but also great capacity for violence. Is that why you eliminated the other predator species? Because of their potential?" The ambassador and Trelvox exchanged glances. "The historical record is complex," Zixtal said carefully. "Those species could not control their aggressive instincts. They posed a threat to galactic stability. And you decided that for them." Olivia leaned forward. "You're planning the same for us, aren't you? Your containment protocol?" Before either could answer, an alarm sounded. Trelvox checked a device on his wrist. "Security breach in Section 7. Human life signs detected." Zixtal rose quickly. "Stay with her. I will investigate." After the ambassador left, Trelvox turned to Olivia. "Your species moves quickly. That is something we have observed repeatedly." "It's part of being a predator," Olivia replied. "We see opportunities and take them." In Section 7 of Nexus Station, Alan Murphy had escaped from his holding cell. After days of observation, he had noted the patterns of the guards and found a weakness in their security system. Union species thought linearly, following set procedures. They never expected a prisoner to hide in the ventilation system. Now he moved quietly through the maintenance tunnels, searching for a way to contact the Pathfinder. He had overheard his guards talking about Olivia's capture, and knew time was running out. On Earth, strange reports were coming in from around the world. People near Union centers were experiencing mild flu-like symptoms. Water testing facilities detected unusual compounds that disappeared before they could be properly analyzed. Military bases reported electronic glitches in their defense systems. Susan. Kelly had managed to download data from the Chicago Center's computers. What she found confirmed Jack's warnings. The Union was testing Earth's defenses and human biological responses. It was preparation for a larger operation. She sent the information to Jack and then left the center, careful not to draw attention. But as she reached her car, she noticed 2 Union security officers following her. They were trying to be discreet, but predator eyes were designed to detect movement. Susan casually got into her car and drove away, taking a complex route through the city. The Union vehicle stayed with her. She wasn't surprised. Predators noticed when they were being hunted on our. The Pathfinder, Jack received Susan's data and combined it with what Olivia had sent. The picture was becoming clearer and more disturbing. The Union wasn't just studying humans. They were actively preparing to neutralize them. "Lieutenant Miller," Jack called. "I want all systems checked for sabotage, and prepare a shuttle. We're going to Nexus Station." "Sir?" Miller looked surprised. "Shouldn't we warn Earth Command first?" "We will, but we need Reed and Murphy. They have more information, and we're not leaving our people in enemy hands." As they prepared the shuttle, a junior officer ran into the room. "Commander, we've detected Union ships approaching Earth orbit. A lot of them." Jack checked the scanner. At least 20 Union vessels were moving into position around Earth. Far more than the diplomatic mission should have had. "They're deploying something," the officer said. "Small objects entering low orbit over major cities." Jack recognized the pattern from the containment protocol files. "They're positioning orbital platforms, weapons disguised as communication relays." He turned to Miller. "Change of plans. Contact Earth Command immediately. Authorization code Ellis Delta 9. Tell them we have evidence of an imminent alien attack." Meanwhile, on Nexus Station, an unusual meeting was taking place. Krelox, a Union philosopher-scientist with a reputation for controversial views, had gathered a small group of like-minded individuals from different species. The Council is making a mistake, he told them. Humans are different from the other predator species we've encountered. Their predatory nature has evolved alongside unusual levels of empathy and cooperation. The containment protocol has already begun, said one of the others. The Council won't stop it now. Then we must help the humans, Krelox replied. They deserve a chance to prove themselves. He looked at a display showing Olivia's holding cell. And I believe Dr. Reed may be the key. The emergency meeting of the Union Council was brief. After reviewing the reports of human activities, they voted to accelerate the containment protocol. Ambassador Zixtal was the only one who hesitated. The humans are still learning about galactic society, he said. Perhaps we should give them more time. The council leader, a tall Krex named Vorthal, shook his head. We have seen this pattern before. The humans have discovered our plans. They will react with violence. It is their nature as predators. The vote is final, another council member announced. Proceed to Phase 3 immediately. In Earth's orbit, Union ships began activating the platforms they had positioned around the planet. On the ground, Union centers initiated biological agent release protocols, but the humans were not waiting passively. Captain Diane Foster stood in the command center of Luna Base, Earth's military outpost on the moon. With her was General Paul Harris, who had arrived from Earth after receiving Jack's warning. All major military installations have been evacuated, General Harris said. Critical systems and personnel have been moved to backup locations. The Union doesn't know we're onto them. Diane nodded. The lunar defense grid is ready. As soon as they make their move, we'll be ready to respond. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, the general replied. But if it does, show them what predators are capable of. On Nexus Station, Olivia was startled when her cell door opened suddenly. Instead of her guards, a strange alien entered. He was smaller than most Union species, with pale blue skin and large eyes. Dr. Reed, I am Krelox, he said in a whisper. We don't have much time. Not all of us agree with the Council's decision regarding humans. What decision? Olivia asked, her heart racing. The Council has voted to implement Phase 3 of the containment protocol. They are targeting your military installations and population centers as we speak. Olivia stood up quickly. I need to warn my people. That's why I'm here. Krelox handed her a small device. This will give you access to our communication systems. Your friend Dr. Murphy is waiting for us in Section 12. We have others who will help. As they moved through the corridors, Krelox explained more. I have studied your species carefully. Unlike the Council, I see something unique in humans. Your predatory instincts have evolved alongside remarkable cooperation and empathy. Why? Is that important? Olivia asked as they hurried. The Union has grown stagnant. We perfect existing technology but rarely develop new concepts. We lack the drive to explore dangerous regions of space. We avoid risks. He looked at her with his large eyes. We need what humans have. They found Alan in Section 12, working on a computer terminal. He looked up as they entered, relief flooding his face when he saw Olivia. Thank goodness you're safe, he said, embracing her quickly. I've been trying to access their main systems, but their security is unlike anything I've seen. That's because it's designed to be perfect, not adaptive, Krelox said. Show me. While Krelox helped Alan bypass the security, Olivia used the communication device to contact the Pathfinder. Jack's face appeared on the screen. Olivia, where are you? Still on Nexus Station. Jack, the Union Council has voted to implement Phase 3. They're targeting Earth now. We know. They've already begun positioning weapons platforms, but we're not sitting still. Jack's expression was grim but determined. Earth forces have evacuated key installations. Luna Base is preparing a counterattack. There's something else you should know, Olivia said. I've been working with a Union scientist named Krelox. He says not all of them agree with the Council, and he's discovered something about Union species. They lack certain cognitive abilities that humans take for granted. What do you mean? Strategic, thinking, risk assessment. The ability to anticipate threats. They can follow complex plans, but they struggle to adapt when those plans fail. She glanced at Krelox, who nodded in agreement. Their evolutionary path as prey species never developed those skills. Jack's eyes narrowed. That could be an advantage. It already is, Krelox said, joining Olivia at the screen. Your species has been demonstrating it since first contact. The Council expected you to follow their guidance without question. Instead, you looked for hidden motives, anticipated potential threats, and prepared defenses. The screen suddenly flickered as an alarm blared throughout the station. They're attacking, Jack said. Union ships have fired on military bases in North America and Asia. Olivia felt cold fear. Were there casualties? Minimal. Most personnel had been evacuated. But now Earth is responding. Jack looked at something off-screen. Luna Base has launched countermeasures against the Union platforms. In lunar orbit, Captain Diane Foster watched as her ships moved into position. The Union had expected to catch Earth defenseless. Instead, they found Luna Base's defenders waiting and ready. Target their weapons platforms first, she ordered. Disable, don't destroy if possible. The Union commanders were confused by the human response. Their tactical systems had calculated a 98% probability that humans would defend their primary military installations. Instead, those bases were nearly empty, and attacks were coming from unexpected locations. The humans anticipated our attack, a Union commander reported to the Council. They're targeting our orbital platforms with unexpected precision. Vorthal, the Council leader, couldn't understand how their careful plans had failed. Deploy the bioweapon, he ordered. Target their population centers. On Earth, Susan Kelly had reached a secure military facility with her data from the Union Center. Scientists were already working on countermeasures based on Jack's earlier warnings. The Union's biological agents target specific neural pathways related to aggression, explained Dr. Ben Martinez, the lead scientist. But we've synthesized a compound that can neutralize it. Can we deploy it widely enough? Susan asked. We've already started. Water treatment facilities, atmospheric dispersal systems, emergency broadcasts with instructions for home remedies. Dr. Martinez smiled grimly. Humans are good at responding to threats, Agent Kelly. It's in our predator DNA. Back on Nexus Station, Alan had made a breakthrough with Krelox's help. I'm into their main systems, he announced. I can see everything. Their attack plans, defense codes, even their biological weapon formulas. Olivia looked over his shoulder. Can you shut down their weapons? Better than that, Alan said. I can show the entire Union what the Council has been hiding from them. His fingers flew over the keyboard. Including the truth about the other predator species. What truth? Olivia asked. Krelox's large eyes showed sadness. The Council claims all predator species were naturally violent and self-destructive, but the historical records show otherwise. Most were peaceful civilizations until the Union provoked conflicts or directly intervened. Why would they do that? Olivia couldn't understand. Fear, Krelox said simply. Prey fears predator. It is instinctive, but fear makes poor policy. Alan completed his work. Done. I'm broadcasting the true historical records to all Union species, along with the Council's current plans for Earth. In space, the battle took an unexpected turn. Union commanders found their carefully planned attack strategies failing. As humans used unpredictable maneuvers and rapid adaptations, Captain Foster's ships weaved between Union formations, striking where they were least expected. And throughout Union territory, ordinary citizens were receiving unexpected information about Earth, about humans, and about their own Council's deceptions, on day. The Pathfinder, Jack received a transmission from Luna Base. Commander, Captain Foster reported, the Union ships are withdrawing from Earth orbit, and we're getting strange communications from some of their vessels. They want to talk. 1 week after the failed attack on Earth, representatives from both sides gathered on Nexus Station. The large meeting room was tense. On one side sat the human delegation, led by General Harris, with Olivia, Jack, and Alan beside him. Susan. Kelly and Captain Foster had joined them from Earth. On the other side, the Union Council members looked uncomfortable. Vorthal, the council leader, spoke first. "We have reviewed the situation and acknowledge errors in our approach to Earth." "You mean your attempt to eliminate us?" Jack said, his voice hard. Olivia placed a gentle hand on his arm. They had agreed she would lead the scientific discussion. "We understand your actions were based on historical patterns," she said, "but humans are not like the other predator species you've encountered." Krelox, who now sat with the council, as a special advisor, nodded. "Dr. Reed is correct. My research shows that humans have developed unique cognitive abilities. Their predatory instincts have evolved alongside remarkable levels of empathy and cooperation." Ambassador Zixtal's feathers rippled in what Olivia now recognized as a sign of agreement. "The humans' response to our attack demonstrates this. They could have destroyed our ships and platforms, but they chose to disable them instead. Minimal casualties on both sides." "That doesn't change the fact that you tried to wipe us out," General Harris said. "Why should we trust you now?" Before any council member could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. A Union officer rushed into the meeting room. "Emergency signal from the Viridian colony on Naxos Y4, he reported. "A large asteroid has changed course and will impact the planet in less than 12 hours. "How is that possible?" Forthal demanded. "Our tracking systems would have detected it weeks ago." "It was hiding in the shadow of a gas giant," the officer explained. "Our systems failed to predict its orbital change." The room erupted in panic. The Viridian colony held over 50,000 civilians. The Union representatives began arguing about evacuation protocols and procedures. Jack caught Olivia's eye. She nodded, understanding passing between them. "We can help," Jack said, his voice cutting through the noise. "The Pathfinder can reach Naxos 4 in 8 hours at maximum speed. Captain Foster's ships from Luna Base can follow within 10 hours. The room fell silent as the Union Council stared at him. "Why would you help?" Vorthal asked suspiciously. "After what we tried to do?" "Because that's what humans do," Olivia said simply. "We protect." General Harris nodded. "Commander Ellis has my authorization to lead this mission. Captain Foster, prepare your ships. We'll need all available shuttles for evacuation." Within an hour, the Pathfinder and 3 Earth ships were racing toward the Viridian colony. Jack stood on the bridge, looking at the tactical display. "Mindais. Asteroid is 3 kilometers wide," Lieutenant Miller reported. "Direct impact will destroy the colony and cause massive damage across the hemisphere." "Options?" Jack asked. "Union ships are 8 hours out. They'll never make it in time," Miller said. "Their evacuation protocols can only move about 20,000 people in the time remaining." Jack studied the data. "We need to change the asteroid's path, prepare all our missiles. We'll need precise calculations." Olivia, who had insisted on joining the mission, worked with Alan at a science station. "The Union deflection calculations won't work," she said. "They're too cautious, allowing too much margin for error." "We need to hit it exactly right the first time," Alan agreed. "No second chances." On Naxos 4, panic spread through the Viridian colony as the news arrived. Union evacuation ships could only take the most essential personnel. Families would be separated. Most would be left behind. When the Pathfinder arrived, Jack immediately took charge. "This is Commander Ellis of Earth Vessel Pathfinder. We are implementing Emergency Plan Alpha. Begin moving all civilians to these designated areas for shuttle pickup." The Union officials were confused. "But your shuttles can only carry a few thousand people." "We're not just evacuating," Jack explained. "We're going to deflect the asteroid. But we need to move people away from potential impact zones in case we only partially succeed." Captain Foster's ships arrived shortly after, bringing more shuttles and weapons. Jack divided their forces. Half would work on evacuation, half would join the deflection effort. The Union would never attempt this, a Viridian official told Olivia as they worked. The risk calculation would deem it too dangerous. "That's the difference," Olivia replied. "Humans calculate risks differently. We see the potential reward of saving everyone is worth the danger. As the asteroid approached, Jack positioned the Earth ships carefully. All vessels, fire on my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark. Missiles streaked from multiple ships, all targeting precise points on the asteroid. The explosions looked small against the massive rock, but they were perfectly placed. For a long moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly, tracking data showed the asteroid's path beginning to shift. "It's working," Miller called out. "Deflection angle increasing. New trajectory calculations show it will miss the planet by 8,000 kilometers. The Viridian colony erupted in celebration. The Union officials watched in amazement. 3 days later, the delegations met again. The mood was very different now. "You saved our people when you had every reason to let them perish," Forthall admitted. "We have misjudged humanity." "We would have done the same for any species," General Harris said. "That's who we are." Krelock stepped forward. "I propose a new understanding between humans and the Union, one based on mutual respect and complementary abilities." "What kind of abilities?" asked Susan Kelly. "Your species sees dangers we miss," Krelock explained. "You think strategically, assess risks, and make rapid decisions in crisis. These are traits the Union lacks, but desperately needs." "And what do we get in return?" General Harris asked. "Technology, knowledge, access to the galaxy," Ambassador Zixtal said. "And most importantly, peace." Olivia saw the opportunity. "I have a proposal. We could create a new protocol to replace the containment protocol. One that recognizes the value of controlled predatory instincts in a galactic civilization." Krelock's eyes brightened. "The Predator Protocol. A framework for humans to train Union security forces in threat assessment and strategic thinking, and for Union scientists to help humans understand how our different evolutionary paths can work together," Allen added. 1 month later, the new, joint Human-Union vessel Vanguard prepared for its first mission. On the observation deck, Olivia and Jack watched Earth growing smaller in the distance. "I never thought we'd be heading into space as partners rather than enemies," Jack said. "It makes sense," Olivia replied. "They needed what we have, the ability to protect, to anticipate dangers, to take calculated risks. And we needed what they have, the technology to explore beyond our solar system." The ship's intercom announced their course was set for a region of space the Union had previously avoided due to potential dangers. "Ready to show them how predators explore?" Jack asked with a smile. Olivia nodded. "Ready to show them what humans do best, face the unknown, not because it's safe, but because it's there." As the Vanguard accelerated to faster than light speed, both humans knew this was just the beginning. The shocking truth that humans were born predators had nearly led to war. But now it had become the foundation for something new. A galaxy where predator and prey work together, each bringing their unique evolutionary gifts to create something stronger than either could become alone.